Hey, cooking bloke's back. What are you gonna cook today, cooking bloke? I'm gonna be cooking sirloin beef stew, and the ingredients are many. And what I've done is I've prepared lots of the ingredients, so you don't have to sit through the peeling, the chopping. But what I have, let me just show you what I have here. Right. So down here I have garlic, onion, mushrooms. And these mushrooms, they're pretty old and wizened, and most people would think that they're not palatable, but by the time a mushroom is like this, they are the most tasty. Then I have chicken stock, beef stock, peppercorns, gravy, granules for thickening, some Marmite if necessary, chickpeas, which is an absolute requirement for this dish, chicken stock boiled down from a whole chicken carcass, and look at that, how rich and fatty that is, full of all the nutrients and collagen and everything. Then I've got some black pepper sauce, which was a remnant of what I had the other day when I ate one of these. So I had one of these with half of that sauce on it and chips, which was great. So then over here we have squash, and this squash, you know, for those of you that are not quite sure about squash and how to cook it, you just basically have to flash boil it. You leave it boiling for about 1 minute, and then it still retains a little bit of its texture. If you boil it any longer, it just goes to mush. Then I have the new potatoes and the carrots. So they're waiting to go in. Then over here we have squirrel fodder. So we have pumpkin seeds, we have melon seeds, melon skin, and raw pumpkin. So we'll see how they go with those. Of course we have the prerequisite Newcastle brown. And music. Now then, I'm going to put my pan on with olive oil and stir in the onions and garlic. So let's get them going. In actual fact, you know, I don't really need to do any of that. I'll give one a little bit of a browning, but I don't think it's really necessary because after all it's a stew. And as everything else is cooked, save for the meat, then it's not going to take too long to stir it in any case. But I'll just brown those a little bit, and I will put this diced beef. So let me just dice this beef here. Beautiful tender sirloin beef. Look at that. I don't know how people can live without meat. I know I can't. I eat meat or fish every day. And I think what I'll do is I'll just cut off the little bit of fat there, because I'll give this to the jackdaws. Jackdaws love this shit. And so what I do is, it's very, very tough, and so I cut that up into thin slivers so they can just wolf it down. And then in the stew there'll be no fatty, grisly bits. the onions a little bit. Dice this up. Now the thing is about sirloin, it doesn't make the best steak if you're gonna be eating like steak and chips. It's not really that tasty. I think you want a ribeye or you want a fillet, something like that, which is more tasty, because this one isn't that tasty. It's kind of like, it doesn't really taste like meat, you know. What's going on? It just kind of, it's bland. And so that's why, you know, I'll bang it in a stew. Yes! Oh my God. Thank you, cows. You are appreciated in the end. Right, this fat, you know, of course the birds love this. But get that, and some tiny little gobble downable pieces. You see, whenever I'm doing any cooking, I'm always bearing nature in mind, and I won't put food in the bin. You know, vegetables and meat, all that sort of stuff, goes straight in the garden, because all the chopped bones and chicken carcass and everything like that, that's wolfed down by the foxes each evening. And if I put chicken carcass out in the daytime, then the jackdaws and the magpies and crows, well, they'll consider it carry-on, and they'll be treating it as such. Right then, so now we've got a little bit of a feed for some birds out there, and we've got a beautiful lump of meat here. Gonna bang that in the pan. Just turn you around, put you there. Look at that. I mean, think about the amount of meals that you have onion and garlic and meats. It really is a staple, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I'll be happy just to eat that on its own. Cook that through, bang that in some thick, crusty bread. That'll be amazing. So, gonna bang the heat up on that to maximum. And now let's figure the beer. Wow! In actual fact, I think we can just stop messing about and just get to it. So, look at that beautiful stock. See all those bits of bone and what have you in the bottom there. Very, very rich. And I think the mushrooms can go in straight away. The chickpeas, bang them in. Then I'm going to put this stock in, a couple of beef cubes and a couple of the nice fatty chicken stock cubes. And the thing is, like, I put these beef cubes in to make sure there's enough salt in there, and so it really does taste beefy. And the reason why I put the chicken stock in, because it's not a chicken meal, but that's the most fatty and tasty. So then, I think I can just bang in this, I mean, at the end of the day, this is black peppercorns and garlic and cream, and I'm sure that'll, you know, fit in very nicely with all the rest of the ingredients. Give that a bit of a stir around. Now we can see that it's really watery, yeah, and so that's not going to constitute, you know, much satisfaction, because it needs to be of a greater consistency. And so this is when the beef, go on, get in there, gravy granules come into play. Then peppercorns, and I like my meal's nice and spicy, so I'm going to bang those peppercorns in and see what happens, whether it needs any more later. And then I'll reserve the Marmite to see if it's salty enough. So we've got a good base now for a very wholesome, tasty stew. And that's just got to simmer, you know, 20 minutes, half an hour, and then when it's ready and when it's palatable, might need a little bit more black pepper or maybe some Marmite, and maybe a bit more thickening with the gravy granules. Then I will put in my potatoes, squash and carrots. Just stir it through without cooking it anymore because they're already cooked enough, and then it'll be ready to go. So I will make another video about the end result. And so just before I go, no talking today, no philosophy and things like that. As I said, you know, having a bit of a break from that, not doing any walking, talking videos anymore. I seem to be doing more chat videos, but yeah, doing some different stuff, and making a lot of Providence videos, because of course there's going to be a lot to see soon. Yesterday I had a wonderful half an hour with her. My daughter came over and she wanted to see Providence, and as it happened, Providence was in the garden, and so she came running up to us. And amazingly, because Providence doesn't like anybody else around, and if there's other people in the garden, she'll bolt. But she actually jumped on my daughter's leggings and ran up looking for food. And we're both very curious about that. You know, animals have got a lot of intuition and instinct. But Providence did hear my daughter, you know, 2 or 3 occasions when she was a baby. But what she used to do, you see, when my daughter come round, Providence would go and hide in my hoodie. And I lift up the hoodie like that, and I just see her like that, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? And she wouldn't come out while my daughter was there. But as soon as she heard me say goodbye and my daughter went and the door closed, she was out again. And you know, she was on the couch like this, and she was, you know, all ready to go again. And I'm kind of like, you know, but I don't know whether she remembered the voice, whether she feels that animal intuition, the connection, that there's no harm coming, and she's related to me, so she's comfortable with me. So, but when a mate of mine came round, she didn't want anything to do with him, and all the people in the garden. She so yeah, there's lots to learn about animals, people. a great deal to learn about their psyche and how they perceive the world, because they're very, very, very finely tuned into a whole bunch of stuff that human beings have got no idea. They hear a vastly more range, they'll smell vastly more, they'll intuit vastly more. They have, I'm pretty positive that squirrels, they are even tuned in to the dialogue of all the birds, because many occasion when the birds are tweeting in a certain way, she'll be like that and then she'll bolt long before the squirrels have started to give it which is their you know, warning for predators. And so I've noticed that even like with robins, when there's a cat in the garden, the robins have a certain little click, 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 and then the other robins will start to come by, click, click, click. And so if you tune in, you'll see that, you know, or you'll hear that birds have a great variance and range of vocabulary. It's vocabulary, people. So yeah, she was out in the garden, she came up to us and she's standing up like this, and we're both feeding her and she's running away, berrying, and she looks very vital and youthful and sprightly, and we think that she even kicked the ass of a young one which came looking for food. There's two young ones which frequent the garden quite regularly. Providence has never been bothered by them before, but I couldn't be positive, but there was once little baby squirrel getting his ass kicked, and they both ran under the hole in the fence, and then about 2 minutes later Providence came through. So it could have been Providence, but I've never seen her attack. I've never seen squirrels fight before. They will always be chasing each other, because you've seen how they drew blood on me. They drew blood on my hand, Provinces drew blood on my nose when I'm talking to her on the fence and she's looking for food, and she puts her claws on top of my glasses. She'll do that, but one of the little claws, you know, scratched my nose, drew blood in an instant. Their teeth are razor sharp, they ain't getting involved in that shit, that's why they're always running. But yesterday, there was a little baby one getting his ass kicked, and it's kind of like, it was squealing. Bless her! And, you know, I'm always encouraging them, feeding them and everything. And then Providence is stamping out of territory now. If it was her, can't be sure. Anyway, so I'm hoping I'm going to see her again today. She's out and about much more. And I'll take the camera out into the garden. And yeah, look at that now. Wow! That's cracking on, isn't it? You see the thickness of it, the consistency, and you can see the fat globules in it. And I think already that's going to be pretty tasty. And so I'm going to taste that. Mmm. Oh wow. Yeah. Mmm. Very chickeny, of course, because I put in all that broth and chicken stock, and I think that'll be fine. The only thing I would do is, if I don't want it to be that chickeny, then I'll compromise it with the Marmite. But I'll see by the time all the juices from the onions and mushrooms and the peppercorns and the garlic have, you know, really simmered down in that. And so I'm just going to put a lid on that. And leave that for 20. And then I'll be back. Cheers.